Dear student, welcome to this lecture on textile testing. In this class, I am going to discuss moisture vapor permeability. So before getting into the details, let us see what are the topics that I am going to cover. First, I will discuss what is the definition of moisture vapor permeability. Thereafter, I will discuss the importance, and thereafter, I will discuss how to measure the moisture vapor permeability of a fabric. So let us start with definition of moisture vapor permeability. So moisture vapor permeability, this refers to how easily moisture vapor can transmit through a fabric. It is usually expressed in terms of gram per square meter per day. It is also measured in the terms of water vapor permeability index. Basically, this is a relative measurement of water vapor permeability that I am going to discuss afterwards. And this is calculated by expressing the water vapor permeability of the fabric as a percentage of water vapor permeability of a reference fabric, which is tested simultaneously with the test specimen. Now, mechanism of moisture vapor transfer. Now let us see how the moisture vapor can transfer to a fabric. First, the diffusion of the water vapor through the air space between the fibers. We know that inside the fibers there are a lot of air spaces, so moisture vapor can easily diffuse through these air spaces. Next is the absorption, transmission, and desorption of the water vapor by the fibers. In this case, exactly what happens: the fiber first absorbs the moisture vapor, then it will transmit through the fiber, and then it will dissolve the water vapor. That means the water vapor will be removed from the outer surface of the fibers. And naturally, it is very easily you can understand that this type of mechanism mainly applicable in the case of hydrophilic fibers. And next, the diffusion of the water vapor through the yarn capillaries. That means in between the yarns there are a lot of spaces. Okay, so water vapor can also diffuse through this yarn capillaries. So these are the three major mechanisms by means of which moisture vapor can pass through a fabric. The first one is the diffusion of the water vapor through the airspace. Second one is the absorption, transmission, and thereafter removal of the water vapor from the outside of the outer surface of the fibers. And third one is the diffusion of the water vapor through the yarn capillaries. Now let us see the measurement of moisture vapor transfer. I have, as I've already told you, there are two different types of measurement. One is the absolute measurement, and second one is the relative measurement. So, what is the meaning of the absolute measurement? Uh, Absolute measurement, it is basically based on BS 7209 standard, and the specimen under this test is sealed over the open mouth of a dish containing the water and placed in the standard testing atmosphere. After a period of time, to establishing the time, successive weighting of the dish are made and the rate of water vapor transfer to the specimen is calculated. I will discuss the detailed method afterwards. That means what I mean to say here, that in the case of absolute measurement, we will measure what is the amount of water vapor that will pass to the fabric per unit time, per unit area. Now next is the relative measurement. The relative measurement is basically the calculation of water vapor permeability index that I have told just before this slide. And this index is calculated by the expressing the water vapor permeability of the fabric as a percentage of the water vapor permeability of the reference fabric, which is tested simultaneously with the test specimen. That means in the in this case, that is a relative measurement. That means the two specimen, one is the test specimen, another one is the standard specimen. These two specimen will be tested for water vapor permeability, and thereafter the water vapor permeability of the test specimen will be expressed as a percentage of the standard fabric. Okay. Now let us see what is the importance of moisture vapor permeability. In the previous lecture, I have discussed there are three aspects of the clothing control. One is the psychological control, another one is the physiological control, and third one is the physical comfort. Now, out of this, the thermophysiological comfort is very important, and there are lot of factors which affect the thermophysiological comfort of fabric. So let us see what are the fabric, what are the uh, factors which influence the thermophysiological comfort of a fabric. The first one is the air permeability. This I have discussed already in the previous lecture. And next is the moisture vapor permeability. This I am going to discuss in this lecture. And next class and onwards, I will discuss the rest of the property like wicking property, total water absorbency, wetting, and thermal property. So this is the air permeability. This I have already discussed. This is the moisture vapor permeability. This property we will be discussing right now. And there are other properties we will discuss in the subsequent classes. Now let us see what is the importance of the moisture vapor permeability. As I have already told you, moisture vapor permeability perhaps the most important factor which influence the thermophysiological comfort property of a fabric. So let us see how. Now before that, I'd like to mention something, mention certain points regarding the thermophysiological comfort. We know that our core body temperature is always to be maintained 37.5 plus minus 1 or 2 degrees. If the core body temperature is raised beyond this level, then there will be a situation like hyperthermia. Okay, and this hyperthermia is very dangerous, and a human being can die because of hyperthermia. Similarly, if the temperature of human body is less than 3 plus minus 3 degree, the 37.5 degree, then also there is an incidence of hypothermia. In hypothermia, that means the core body temperature will be reduced, and as a result, there is also human beings can also die. That means what I mean to say is that the core body temperature should be maintained plus minus 2 to 3 degree of 37.5. If it is more than plus 3 degree, then there will be incidence of hypothermia and there will be danger of death. And if there is minus 3 degree, then also there will be danger of death because of hypothermia. Now, moisture vapor permeability is always playing a very important role in measurement in maintaining the body temperature. Okay, our body is continuously producing heat because of the metabolic activity. Now see, moisture vapor plays a very important role in determining the thermophysiological comfort property of a fabric. In order to keep the temperature at a reasonable constant level, human body continues to produce the perspiration. See, what I mean to say is that our body is continuously producing perspiration, and in the normal condition, the perspiration should be able to pass from the clothing microclimate to the clothing system in the vapor form. This is known as the insensible perspiration. The level of perspiration production depends on the level of activity. Higher the level of activity, more will be the perspiration. That means the same thing that I have told earlier, that our human body is continuously produces perspiration. Why? Because our continuously heat is generated in our body because of the metabolic activity, and to maintain our heat at the temperature at the constant level, perspiration is continuously produced. Now, in normal condition, the perspiration we cannot sense. That is known as it is insensible perspiration. This perspiration is produced in form of the vapor, and it is passed through the clothing system. Okay, and we cannot feel. That's why it is known as insensible perspiration. That means here the heat is taken out from our body along with the moisture vapor, but we cannot sense it because it is taking place in the form of vapor. Now, what will be the amount of perspiration a human body will produce? That depends upon the level of activity. Higher the level of activity, more will be the rate of production of perspiration. Now, if the rate of production of the perspiration is greater than the rate at which the clothing system would allow the escape, the moisture will accumulate at some points in the microclimate. So, what is the meaning of the term microclimate? Microclimate is basically the space between the skin and the fabric. Thus, the clothing may be uncomfortable if it is unable to pass sufficient moisture vapor during the vigorous activities. When excess moisture accumulates, this causes reduction in thermal insulation of the clothing and eventually condensation and wetting. Further, when the activity ceases, freezing can occur because clothing is now damp and the body heat production has been reduced and the reduction in the thermal insulation, leading to the frostbite if the temperature is low enough. This may cause death because of the hypothermia. That means let us see what is written in this paragraph. What I mean to say here is rate of production of the perspiration will be more if the level of activity is more. Now, if the rate of perspiration is more and our clothing system does not allow to pass this moisture vapor to this fabric, then what will happen? The excess moisture vapor will accumulate in form of the water within the microclimate, and the moment it is condensed in the form of water, what will happen? The insulation of the clothing system will break. Now, if the temperature is very low, then what will happen? This water will be solidified and become frost. And because of this frost, the temperature of the body will be reduced by by 3 or 4 degree of our core body temperature, that is 37.5. And as I have already told, that if the core body temperature is reduced by 3 degree, that means if it is reduced in the level of 33 degree or 34 degree, then what will happen? This will lead to the hypothermia, and there is always a danger of death. Okay. Now, here we will discuss now how the moisture vapor transfer of the fabric can be measured using this BS7209. Now, I will discuss this very simplified way. That you have to take the dish. I will show the diagram, and sufficient distilled water to give a 10 millimeter air gap between the water surface and the fabric. See, you can see this is the dish, right? This is the water. This is the fabric. Okay, and as I have mentioned, that there is 10 millimeter air gap between the water surface and the fabric. So this is the water surface and this is the fabric. Okay, and this distance is 10 millimeter. Now, place the cover ring over the dish and the gap between the cover ring and the dish sealed with the PVC tape. Now we have to place a cover ring at this place so that the fabric is firmly attached with the mouth of the dish, and thereafter we have to seal by means of PVC tape the opening at this opening, so that there is no chance of passage of water vapor through this opening. Now repeat this with the reference fabric in the same way. Okay, now this is the test fabric. This is the test fabric, test specimen, and we have to carry out this test for the reference fabric in the same manner. All the dishes are then placed in a standard atmosphere and then allowed to stand for at least 1 hour to establish equilibrium. Now, both the dish, one is from the test specimen, another one is for the reference sample. They will be placed for 1 hour to reach at the equilibrium. Now, after the equilibrium is reached, then we have to weigh with an accuracy of 0.001 gram, and we have to note the time. After a suitable time, say overnight, the dishes are re-weighed and the time is noted. So here, the first time, what we have to do, we have to allow at least 1 hour time to establish the equilibrium. So after 1 hour, we will consider that equilibrium is reached, and we will weigh the assembly. Okay, we have to always careful that we have to weigh the dish in a balance which is accurate enough. At least it can 0.001 gram we can measure. Now after a suitable time, say overnight, we have to again measure the assembly. Now by this time, what will happen? Some of the water vapor will pass through this fabric and the weight of the specimen will be reduced. So this is the calculation. This is the water vapor permeability. This is the mass of M is the loss in the mass, A is the area, and T is the time. Okay, and it is multiplied by 24. Why it is multiplied by 24? Because I have to consider 24 hours. That means 1 day. Okay, so and why there is a loss of mass? Because I have already told you that some of the moisture vapor will pass to the fabric, and with the passage of the water vapor, the assembly will loss in weight. So M is the loss in weight, and M by A is the loss in weight per unit area. Okay, divided by T, it will give you the per unit time into 24. That means it will give the moisture amount of moisture vapor that is passed to the fabric in terms of gram per square meter per day. Now area is pi d square into 10 to the power minus 6 by 4. But d is the internal diameter of the dish. The water vapor permeability index is equal to water vapor permeability of the test specimen divided by water vapor permeability of the reference sample into 100. Okay, that means what I mean to say here, that you have to measure the what is the amount of water vapor that is passed to the fabric, and what is the amount of water vapor that is passed to the reference fabric. And water vapor permeability index is the ratio between these two, and it is expressed in terms of percentage, right? Now this is the measurement of water vapor transfer, ASTM, and this E96. This is the most popular method as on date for measurement of the moisture vapor. There are two basic methods are there. One is the desiccant method, another one is the water method. What is the desiccant? Desiccant method is any chemical, say calcium chloride or something like that, which can absorb moisture. In the desiccant method, the test specimen is sealed to the open mouth of a test dish containing a desiccant. That means what we have to do here, the first we have to put the desiccant, say calcium chloride, inside the test dish, and we have to seal the mouth of the test dish. Now assembly is weighed periodically to determine the rate of water vapor movement through the specimen into the desiccant. Now here what will happen? The desiccant, it has ability to absorb moisture, so it will absorb the moisture from the atmosphere. This moisture will pass to the fabric. Okay, so as a result, what will happen? The desiccant will gain in weight, and this gain in weight is purely because of absorption of moisture. So here it will give you the moisture vapor transfer rate in terms of gram per square meter per 24 hours or 1 per day. In the water vapor, the dish contains distilled water, and the weighing determines the rate of water vapor movement through the specimen from the water to the controlled atmosphere. The vapor pressure difference is normally the same as both the method except in the variation with the extreme humidity on the opposite sides. Now let us see what is the detailed method for determination of the moisture vapor permeability. Now in this measurement, the three components are important. The one is the test dish, another one is the testing environment, another one is the weighing appliance. The first one is the test dish. The test dish shall be made of any non-corroding material impermeable to water vapor. A large, shallow, lightweight dish is preferred. The mouth of the dish shall be as large as possible, and it should be at least 4.65 square inch. That means what I mean to say is that you have to ensure the test dish that you are using for this experiment is made of non-corroding material. It is impermeable to water vapor, and also if the mouth is large and the area is at least 4.65 square inch. The next is the testing environment. The room or the cabinet where the entire assembly is to be placed, you should have a controlled atmosphere of temperature and the relative humidity. The temperature should be between 70 degree to 90 degree Fahrenheit. In terms of Celsius, it should be 21 to 32 centigrade and shall be maintained within this difference 0.6 degree centigrade. That means during and before the test, there should not be variation in the temperature. And the relative humidity should be maintained plus minus 50 plus minus 2%. And air shall be continuously circulated throughout the chamber with a velocity sufficient to maintain uniform condition at the test locations. Next is the weighing balance. The weighing balance shall be sensitive to change smaller than 1% of the weight change during the period when the steady state is considered to exist. What I mean to say here, that since we have to express the moisture vapor in terms of the weight, or rather the weight difference, and the weight difference is measured in terms of the balance should be accurate enough. Okay, and it will be sensitive to detect a small change in 1% of the weight difference. Now I have already told you that here AS10 E96 standard, the moisture vapor permeability can be measured by two ways. One is by means of desiccant method, and second one is by means of distilled water method. So first I am going to discuss the desiccant. What you have to do, fill the test dish with the desiccant. Next, leave the enough space so that the shaking of the dish, which must be done at each weight, will mix the desiccant. That means desiccant, I have told you, desiccant it will absorb the moisture, say calcium chloride. Now there should be sufficient space between the mouth of the dish and the desiccant so that you can shake it well. Next is attach the specimen to the dish and place it in the controlled chamber. Next, weigh the dish assembly periodically, often enough to provide the 8 or 10 data points during the test. At least you have to take 8 or 10 data points during the time just to include in the test report. At first, the weight may be changed rapidly. Thereafter, you will find that there is a almost constant change. And test will be finished when the specimen has achieved transmission equilibrium. So this is the schematic diagram representing the measurement process. So this is the desiccant. This is the cup. Using this cup, this desiccant is placed, and at the mouth of the cup, this is the specimen. Okay, and entire assembly is put inside a standard atmosphere. And what will happen? Desiccant will absorb moisture from the atmosphere. So this will absorb the moisture to it, and it will pass through this table. As a result, what will happen? there is an increasing weight of the vesicle, and this will give you the idea what is the amount of water amount in passed through this fabric in form of vapor. That means what is the amount of moisture vapor that passed through this fabric in a given time. Next, earlier method that I have discussed, where desiccant is used. Now in this test, moisture vapor is used. This is the instrument. This is the instrument. These are the cups. These are the cups, and over this cup, the sample is placed. See, here you can see the construction of the cups very well. See, the mouth of the cup is larger, and you have to test the test sample. So this one is the test sample. This is the basket. This is the basket. What is the function of this basket? Function of the basket is it will prevent passage of air through the lid, and this is the screw lid which is attached to this. Again, the same method. We have to fill the dish with the distilled water. This is the dish. We have to fill the distilled water onto the dish so that there is a gap of 19 millimeter between the water surface and the mouth of the dish. The air space was allowed to have a small vapor resistance. An air velocity of 2.8 meter per second is used over the surface of the fabric. See why there should be air velocity? Because after evaporation, what will happen? The vapors will remain within the above the surface of the water. And this vapor layer will further prevent the passage of the newly generated water vapor to pass through this fabric. So continuously you have to make it in the motion so that this cannot create any hindrance to the passage of the water vapor. And this is a standard condition of the experiment. Attach the specimen to the dish, weigh the dish assembly and place it in the control chamber on a true horizontal surface. Control chamber means entire assembly should be placed in an environment where you can control the humidity and the temperature that I have told you earlier. The test process is the same of the desiccant method. That means we have to weigh the test specimen periodically and until the rate of change is substantially constant. That means when moment you see there is no further change, then you can say that your experiment is over, and now you can check the change in rate. As I have already told you, this is the water. This is the water, and this is the still air which is in contact with the water. Okay. This is the fabric layer, and this is the air layer which is in contact with the fabric surface. So there are two air layers. One air layer is in contact with the water, another air layer is in contact with the fabric surface. Okay, the water vapor that will be continuously generating from this layer has to pass through this air, through this fabric surface, and through this stationary air layer. The experiment is sometimes carried out with the cup inverted so that the water is in contact with the inner surface of the fabric. See, what in the so this is the standard test process, but sometimes we can carry out the test process keeping the cup in an inverted way. That means You can say something like this. Here the fabric, this is the cup, this is the straight upright position, and this is the inverted position. Upright position, this is the mouth of the cup, and in the inverted position, this is the mouth of the cup. That means in the inverted position, the fabric is in direct contact with the water. Now, when the fabric is in direct contact with the water, perhaps the result will be more accurate because that time this air layer will not be present. Okay. Now, this is a calculation regarding the measurement of water vapor. This is a very simple calculation. This is the water vapor transfer. This is equal to G divided by T into A. What is the G? In the metric unit, G is the change in weight, you can express in terms of gram. Okay. And P is the time, you can express the P in terms of hours, and A is the test area. It is expressed in terms of meters. And G by T is the slope of the straight line. That means it will represent G by T will represent the rate of change of weight with respect to time. Okay. Now this water vapor transmission WVT will be given by G divided by T into A. I have already explained what is the meaning of G, T, and A. Now permeance will be equal to water vapor transmission divided by delta P. What is delta P? Delta P is the vapor pressure difference and it is expressed in terms of Mercalli column. Then this delta P is again equal to S into R1 minus R2. What is S? S is the saturation water vapor. Okay. R1 is the relative humidity at the source expressed as a percentage. That means the test chamber for the desiccant method and the dish for the water method. And R2 is the relative humidity at the vapor sink expressed as a fraction. So if you want to measure the permeance, it should be measured WVT divided by S into R1 minus R2. And the unit sometimes you can express in terms of farm. Farm is another unit. But most of the cases, for the practical purpose, the water vapor permeability is expressed in terms of gram per square meter per 24 hours. Okay. Here you can again see that how to carry out this calculation. In a desiccant test, 288 hours on an expressed area of 100 square inch is found. The rate of gain is substantially constant after 48 hours, and during the subsequent 240 hours, the weight gain was 12 grams. The controlled chamber conditions were measured at 89 degree Fahrenheit. So, what will be the test? See here. So here you can be, it will be more easily you can understand. So what is G by T? G by T, G is the loss in weight, sorry, gain in weight. Okay, because of the G is the rate gain, is substantially constant after 48 hours. Okay. So what is G? The weight gain is 12 grams. So G by T, and what is the time? Time is 240 hours. Okay. So 12 grams divided by 240 hours, it will give you 0.05 gram per hour. And what is the area A? A is given is 0.65 square meter. So what is S? S is the 35 millimeter mercury. From the psychometric chart you can see here. There is a reference table that can be used. So R1 is equal to this and R2 is equal to this. Okay. So what is the value of the permeance? From the formula you can put that WVT divided by S into R1 minus R2. So ultimately we will get this value. So this is the permeability. So this is an example for the calculation of moisture vapor permeability. So in this lecture we have covered what is the meaning of the term moisture vapor permeability, and its measurement process and its importance. So in short, I can say moisture vapor permeability is the ability of a fabric through which moisture vapor can pass through. Okay, higher the moisture vapor can pass, greater it is moisture vapor permeability. We have seen that moisture vapor permeability is a very important property because especially in the very cold weather, it can lead to the condition of hypothermia or frostbite, and that is a potential threat to the human life. And both the British and the Eastern standard, they have to measure the water vapor permeability in terms of the what is the water pass through the fabric per unit time per unit area. Okay. So that's all regarding this moisture vapor permeability. Next class I will discuss the how the water can pass through the fabric. Here I have discussed that water is passed through the fabric in vapor form. Vapor form means you will not understand. It will continuously it is going on. You cannot understand because it is taking place in the form of vapor and it is not getting your skin. But there is another way also water can pass out of our body. That is the liquid form. But when water vapor or when the water pass in the liquid form, then it is not insensible. Then it is very much sensible because it will wet our skin. So in the next class, I will discuss the how liquid water can pass to the fabric, and it is basically passed by means of the phenomenon wetting and